As the black ink dried on the final separation document, the man who promised to love me forever could barely conceal his triumphant grin. Harrison looked down at me with mock sympathy, while his fingers remained tightly wrapped around those of Vanessa, his new lover. They sat together on the gorgeous emerald velvet sofa that I spent 6 grueling months saving to purchase. My name is Chloe, and I am a professional home stylist who specializes in luxury interior design. On that exceptionally warm afternoon, I calmly signed the final separation agreement and prepared to walk away forever. Harrison confidently assumed he was keeping our stunning home, while Vanessa opally admired the custom light fixtures, elegant art pieces, and expensive decor. 3 years prior, Harrison inherited this large property from his deceased grandparents. The structure of the house was solid, but the interior was a dated disaster filled with cheap laminate floors, peeling wood trim, and faded paint. He had decorated the rooms with damaged items from friends and discount stores, creating an incredibly depressing atmosphere. I saw the incredible potential beneath the dust and decided to transform the entire space with my skills. I invested my own design expertise and personal savings into a massive renovation project that took months of hard work. I selected mid-century modern furniture, dramatic statement lighting, and custom window treatments to elevate every single room. I kept meticulous records and saved every receipt, because I knew Harrison was incredibly reckless with our shared finances. This habit of documenting everything eventually became my ultimate saving grace. Our marriage slowly dissolved as Harrison became increasingly lazy, ungrateful, and emotionally distant. The real breaking point arrived 6 months ago when I discovered his secret messages to Vanessa. She was a temporary worker at his office who was obsessed with the luxurious lifestyle she believed Harrison had built on his own, entirely without my help. She had no idea that I was the one funding and designing everything. I quietly saved digital copies of every message, romantic dinner date, and expensive hotel bill. Instead of starting a useless screaming match, I gathered my evidence and planned a highly strategic exit. When I finally contacted Vanessa to meet and discuss our future, she seemed incredibly excited, rather than ashamed about tearing my family apart. She wore a designer dress that clearly exceeded her modest budget. Vanessa arrived at our house acting as if she had already won the ultimate prize. She offered fake condolences about the situation, but her eyes kept scanning the room, greedily evaluating my expensive furniture. I did not waste time with useless pleasantries and immediately slid the simple divorce agreement across the polished wooden table. The document was clean, clear, and ready for his signature. The legal agreement clearly stated there would be absolutely no division of property. Vanessa smiled widely and told Harrison that I was being incredibly reasonable. Harrison agreed immediately, calling me Courtney before correcting himself to Chloe. He had been so distracted by his affair that he could not even remember my actual name anymore. That minor slip of the tongue confirmed that I was making the correct decision. Vanessa walked proudly through the rooms, touching the custom dining table and praising my design taste. She asked if everything would remain in the house, and Harrison assured her that I was only taking my clothing. I nodded silently, keeping my true plans to myself, and scheduled the moving trucks for 9 the next morning. They had no idea what was about to happen to their dream home. Vanessa walked proudly through the rooms, touching the custom dining table and praising my design taste. She asked if everything would remain in the house, and Harrison assured her that I was only taking my clothing. I nodded silently, keeping my true plans to myself, and scheduled the moving trucks for 9 the next morning. They had no idea what was about to happen to their dream home. The next morning, 2 massive moving trucks and 6 professional movers arrived at the property. Harrison and Vanessa emerged from the bedroom in their robes, looking confused by the size of the crew. Vanessa asked why I needed so much space just for my wardrobe, but I ignored her completely and handed the foreman my detailed list. The men immediately went to work, packing up the valuable items with extreme care. The movers worked rapidly, wrapping the designer sofa and carefully detaching the custom chandeliers. Harrison ran toward them in a panic, shouting that they were stealing his furniture. I handed him the thick folder containing every receipt, proving that I paid for every single item in the house with my own money during our marriage. His face turned pale as he realized the legal implications of those documents. The legal agreement clearly stated that we each kept what belonged to us. Since Harrison never contributed a single dollar to the decor, Everything inside belonged to me. Vanessa watched in absolute horror as the movers packed the television, the custom rugs, and even the kitchen appliances. The beautiful home she wanted was disappearing before her eyes. She screamed at Harrison to do something, but he was completely paralyzed by shock. By late afternoon, another vehicle arrived carrying two specialists with steam machines. Vanessa sat on the bare floor, demanding to know what they were doing. I explained that the custom imported wallpaper belonged to my design firm. Since it cost $8,000, I was taking my personal property back to my warehouse. The workers began stripping the walls, leaving nothing but ugly brown plaster behind. I left them standing in a cold, empty house with exposed wiring and stripped walls. Without my styling to hide the flaws, the old house looked worse than ever before. All the structural defects and water stains were now completely visible. I walked away without looking back, leaving them with nothing but bare floorboards. They were left with an empty shell of a house that smelled like dust. 2 weeks later, Harrison called my phone, his arrogant tone completely gone. He confessed that Vanessa had left him because she refused to live in a barren wasteland. The second-hand furniture he bought looked terrible, and she realized he was not the wealthy man she imagined. He was desperate, lonely, and deeply regretful. His voice trembled as he spoke, begging for some form of comfort. Harrison begged me to return or at least help him choose new furniture to make the place livable. I thought about the beautiful pieces I had already sold to fund my new luxury apartment. I told him that I could not help him, wished him luck with his empty house, and hung up the phone. There was absolutely no warmth left in my heart for his pathetic pleas. I blocked his number immediately, feeling a profound sense of peace. The divorce became official shortly after, and I finally felt free. I realized that some people only value you for what you can provide. Some empty spaces are not meant to be refilled, and leaving them completely blank is the best way to move forward. I walked into my new bright apartment, ready to design a beautiful new life.